Hello, everybody. This is Craig Witt, your U.S. CEO for EXIT Realty Corp International, and I am with Key Yessaad today, one of our productivity coaches and our mindset trainers from EXIT. Hey, Key, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I always love these conversations with you. I know we've done a couple of these in the past, but you're such a unique individual in such a great, healthy, positive way, and in such a great way for our company. I always like to get back together with you. And you and I have been on the road quite a bit the last couple of weeks, maybe
I
months.
I really loved it. It was awesome. Being with
Yeah.
our people. It's just being with our people, our agents, our brokers, seeing the enthusiasm, seeing them wanting to go to another level. There's a hunger and there's a desire for collaboration. That was just beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. And you have a very unique style and a way to get this out of people and you get them out of their shell. And, I've witnessed over the last month how many of our agents you pull up on stage in front of the room in front of everybody. And they get really nervous, they get really scared, but you've got a way of calming them down, take it easy. And, the crowd claps and they encourage them. And I think that's so powerful because it gives them confidence. And by the time they're done and they get a standing ovation or whatever it is, they feel accomplished. And I think that's a really good strategy. So, today, folks, what we want to talk about is, Keith's one of our mindset trainers, but he's much more than that. He's not just a trainer, he's not just a coach, he's really a strategist. And his diverse background, he really lends to more. I got to be honest with you. I think you're in the wrong business, Key. I think you're herding cats in an industry that can't be herded. But you're working really hard and you're doing your best. And what we've done today is come up with some questions. Key put some in front of me. I came up with some of my own. And the reason that we're doing this is because we want to impress upon you, not impress you, but impress upon you the importance of having a coach. And whether it's from a financial perspective or it's a time commitment perspective or it's a commitment, or you're just lazy and you just don't want to do it, which is frustrating as well. But we're just going to have an open discussion today. How's that sound?
That sounds great. Let's go. I'm
That's
ready.
awesome. That's awesome. He's always willing to do this stuff, and I am too. So we work well together. So I want to start off with this, and here's kind of the topic for what I want to talk about today. I get so frustrated, and I'm a very positive, uplifting guy, but I get so frustrated with the lack of commitment in our industry. One of the things I talk about is taking yourself from being a real estate salesperson and an independent contractor to becoming the CEO of your own company and being a real estate professional and an independent business owner. So here's my question to you. The first one is, and I don't know how else to say this, but some will, some won't. So what? What do you have to say about that?
Yes. Well, if you're choosing to be the CEO of your business,
Hmm.
you're accepting two sides of the ledger. One side of the ledger is the income. You do well, you produce result, you get paid. The other
Hmm.
side of the ledger are expenses and investment. What are you investing in yourself? How
Hmm.
are you putting the money that you need to put up, like a new computer, like your phone, whatever tools you have, so that the income happens? So for me, if you're going to consider yourself a CEO and you don't take responsibility for this ledger, and you want to only look at the income part and ignore the investment and the expense part, you're not a fully formed CEO yet. You need to realize, wait a second, this is how finance works. Finance is two sides of the ledger, and you have to take that seriously. Are you investing in yourself? And the most important investment, people when they hear that, they think I'm thinking money. No, time. Are you investing your time properly?
Hmm.
Are you focused on those activities that are money making, or are you working on the things that you like doing, but they don't produce any money? So,
Yeah.
this is why in my coaching, in my program, I talk about personal responsibility.
Hmm.
Accept both. Don't accept one, accept both of them.
Well, you're right. And I think that a lot of this is learned behavior. And the problem is that when we finally get to the point where we're done working for somebody, working for the man, if you will, and collecting a paycheck every Friday, and you say, I'm going to go out and do this on my own, right? I'm going to be independent. Nobody can tell me what to do. And I want more time on my hands and more time off. And I talk a lot about that when I speak. But the thing that they forget is that in order to turn that into income, you actually have to work, right? Like it doesn't come for free. And you go a couple of weeks with no income, and all of a sudden the reality sets in. And the whole purpose of trainers and coaches and accountability partners and people like that is to help be the guide on the side, the person that helps keep carrying us along, pushing us along, right? The carrot in the front and the hot poker in the back, if you will. You've got a really unique style. All right. I'm just going to say this is like question and answer with Key Yessaad, unfiltered. Okay. And you told me to hit you right between the eyes, so I'm gonna today. You got a unique style. You're not normal. You're above normal. You're above average in a really good way. Okay. But your style is so unique that it's either is it can be off-putting to some of our guests in the audience. But the thing that I love about it the most is that you hold them accountable. Talk to me about your unique style. What makes you different than other people in your space? Why would I listen to you?
Because what you know is not sufficient. What you do with what you know is where the magic happens. I consider myself an activity coach.
Mm,
I don't care about the outcome. Did you make your calls? How
mhm.
many did you make? Let's talk about them. What worked? What didn't work? Where did you feel like you were coming up short? What is it that you wanted to say and didn't say? Where did you feel a lack of confidence? Because I can work with that. You made the calls. I can tweak and go, next time, let's try this. How about that? Let's write it down. Let's create some music for you so that when you're in that situation, this is how you handle it. So for me, we have reduced real estate to information. And this is why everybody is seduced by AI because they think it's information. Information is insufficient because without activity, you don't create reality. If you're not asking, hey, Craig, I
Right.
know you're just moving to, you have a second home. I think you should have a third home in Nashville. Can I show you the property? Can I talk to you and your wife and show you what I have for you? You may not be ready for it, but I'd love to show you. See, I just asked you for business. Your job is to say yes, no, maybe later. I don't care. It's your job. I'm not going to control what you do, but I'm going to control me asking.
Okay. So it's progress, not perfection, right?
Correct.
And this sounds to me like it's a lot of having conversations. And I think that a lot of people, in my opinion, I've been in the business 22 years now, but I've been in sales my whole life. I think all of us are salespeople to some degree, right? We're just at different
Oh, sure.
levels. Yeah. But I got to ask you, what is the secret to dealing with real estate salespeople?
The
We're
secret?
different. We're
Oh,
different. We're unique.
I have chosen to treat them like adults, to tell them the truth. I want to be the one who does not cajole them and tell them something is not. No, I have come at it by saying, let me tell you how it works. Let me show you how it works. You want to play? Let's play. You don't want to play? No problem. I am not going to want it for them more than they want it for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm going to show them how to play the game. I'm going to be supporting them. I'm on their side. When they work with me, they get all of me. But if you don't want to play, I'm okay with that. I am not going to, cry because you quit. Next. Let's go to the next person. Somebody more motivated. Somebody who wants it for themselves because they know they want to go to that level. And here's the beauty of it. They exist. I met those agents. I've talked about them on stage. You saw me talk about some of them. They're awesome. They have it inside of them. They have the drive. They've nurtured it. And when they come to me, when they're strategizing with me, they're not asking me to fix them. They're saying, how do I think about this? How do I leverage this? How do I add a team member? How do I cut off a team member? They're strategizing. They're no longer they're taking personal responsibility for their business and they're saying it's mine. I'm going to use you as one of my dirty dozen that our friend Tammy talks about.
Yeah.
That's what I like, and they exist and we have them. We need more of them. My mission is how can we create more of them within our corporation.
Me too. Me too. And we talk about that, raising the level, the professionalism in the industry, because the more professional you are, the more committed you'll be. So, my next question, what frustrates the almighty Key Yessaad?
Hmm, very little. What frustrates me?
Drivers,
Hmm?
bad drivers in the middle of the night.
Mm-mm.
When it
This is
comes
what this
so,
is.
so
This is why I drive at night. I love
let
truckers.
let me
They're
drill into the question a little bit.
okay.
Okay, let's make it a little bit more complex.
Okay.
Of 100 agents that
Uh-huh.
you work with, what percentage of those will you see success with?
I would say about 30.
Okay, so it's a little bit higher than what the industry
Correct.
standard. The old saying of 80
But
20.
remember, work with means extended period of time. I
We're
don't
going to get
work with people on one event and we're done. No, this is why I do spaced out training. Spaced out
yes.
training means this week, Craig, I'm going to give you a big topic with some subtopics, and then I'm going to give you exercises for you to do. Get to work. I'll explain them to you. I'll tell you exactly how to do them. They're not difficult, but your job is to implement them. And by the way, Craig, I'm going to connect you with 2 other people who are going to be your success partners. So there's accountability between you and 2 other people. So you form this triangle and you're working together that week. Now, if you don't show up the next week, you're out because you
Okay.
didn't show up.
Okay. Because you don't record your sessions. We're going to talk about that. I
Yeah,
don't want to give
but
that away.
but showing up is 90% of life. The lesson I taught, my dad told me, never, ever, 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 ever be late. Ever. It sends the wrong message. People are judging you. Don't ever give excuses. Always be early. And I learned that lesson from the get-go, and it has served me well all of my life.
Okay. I love it. That's always been mine too. You know, if you're not 15 minutes early or late or whatever you were taught when you were little. And yet, for some reason in our industry, regardless of where we are in the country, and I've been coast to coast everywhere, there's always a selection of real estate agents that walk in the door either as the clock is ticking at the top of the hour or late. And let me just say this to all of our viewers, that is not acceptable. That is not like, oh, the dog ran away or there's bad traffic or there's weather. You can plan for all those things, and being on time is a choice. So that's number one. Once you get control of your time, then all of a sudden your career starts taking off. Okay, let's switch gears. You brought up having in-person training. Now, the style that we've done over the last 30 days, 60 days is that we throw an event, we bring yourself and some others in the room, we speak for a period of time, everybody takes notes, they're all excited. They have food, they feed their face, they shake hands, and then they walk out the door and they're back to their busy life. And then they're like, wait, who did I just talk to? Key, what? Right? But we know, and I'm just going to give you this comparison. When I took my pilot training, I got a syllabus. And in that syllabus was that every time we met 3 days a week, we went over these things. We did the ground school, and then we would take the ground school and we would apply it in the airplane. And that's what we would do every single week. And I showed up early every day because I was paying for it. Okay, I was paying for it. But I also knew that it would get me my pilot license. By showing up and taking the training that we provide and what Key provides will get you closer to a self-sustaining career, creation of wealth, all these things, right? Lifestyle. So Key, why is it that when people hear you speak for 30 minutes to an hour in a room and then they walk out the door, they forget all about it and they don't have the gumption to call you back and try to set up an ongoing training? Why is that?
Well, some of them don't need to. Some of them are doing really well. They come to
Do
this
you really
event
believe
to
that though? Because even as well as I do, and I feel like I do well, I always lean on people that
right.
are better than me for advice.
Right. No, but some of them, uh, the fact that they don't call back is not anything wrong. It's just they come to those events to recharge their batteries, to reconnect, to rebuild relationship, to be with others and realize that they are with a company bigger than themselves, and they
Yeah.
feel like they're putting their tentacles out. So that's the most important part for those people. So they don't see a need to take a course or something else that I offer, which is absolutely valuable.
Mhm.
And there's another group who come there to look for what's called the silver bullet. They're hoping that somebody will say something that will go, oh my God, I'm going to put that in Chat GPT. I'm going to get 20 listings next week.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. It will never happen. They are what I call the sideliners of the gig. They are not committed to the gig. They're not committed to real estate. They are dabblers. They're observers. They're wishers and they're hopers, but they are
Dreamers.
not committed. They don't show up to do the work. And our industry has about 40 to 50% of agents throughout the industry who are like that. It's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
There is a group, there's about 20% who really get it. I'm after those people. And those 20%, they do reach out. They do.
Okay.
They reach out, they talk to me. I've had more conversations since we traveled together. Some of them are still sending me messages. Some of them are actually showing up to take this training.
Yeah.
So they are in conversation, they are motivated, and some of them are brokers who are going, I need to, I need to sharpen the saw again. I need to get back, and you have a way of being disciplined that I need. So I'm gonna use you as my discipline machine for the next 6 weeks or 8 weeks. I say 6 weeks, it's 8 weeks, but
Yeah.
we'll talk about that later. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
really the thing. So when I look at 100 people, I'm really only looking at 20 out of 100.
20 to 30. The
Yeah.
ones that, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Um, so your specialty, and you're really good at a handful of things, okay? You're an expert in teaching strategy, but also habits and scripts. And in the real estate business, it's all about controlling inventory. It's all about listings. Okay. And if you're a buyer's agent and you're listening to this, that's great. But I would encourage you to become more of a listing agent. Okay. We need buyer's agents too. But you build a career with listings, inventory, all right, product. And when you have 20 or 30 yard signs around town, the consumer has this idea that you control the market, that you're the person that they should call. So you teach this course on how to go out and build your inventory. But one of the things that strikes me is that real estate agents are busy. They're busy. And you've got a 6 week long course. Okay. They're busy, but they got to sit. I hear you. I hear you. What are they doing? They're busy doing what?
Oh,
Right?
okay. Okay.
They're
Thank you for
doing,
saying that.
yeah.
I just want to make sure.
I know what they're not doing, okay, but the point is that it's 6 weeks long, and you've got this because of your personality style and your math background. You're very detailed, and you've got assignments, and you've got homework, and you've got scripts, and you've got all these things. And I'm sitting here looking at this like an agent, going, I don't have time for that. Just teach me, give me the silver bullet. How do I go out and get listings?
Not gonna give you one. No,
It's so
no, no. Hold on,
demanding.
hold on. Craig, you know I respect you and I love you dearly.
Yeah,
If there was a silver bullet and I really had it, let's say I really had it, I would give it to you with open heart. I would give it to you. I would give it to everyone. It doesn't exist. The silver bullet is you. You're the silver bullet. If I don't turn you into that machine, if I don't make you the one who's going, I know how to hunt. I know how to go out there. I know how to ask for business. I am not going to stand in my comfort zone. I am going to face the demons. I am going to go into the ocean like a shark and find my meal. I'm not going to wait on the surface for something to rise up. I am a hunter. I am a person who goes fishing, and I'm looking for companions who go fishing with me. So for me, you're the silver bullet if you're looking for one. And the only reason your bullet may not be as polished as you would want it is you don't have habits. Or
right.
worse, you have bad habits. Agents being busy. All right, all right, all right. Let's talk about that for a second. When I give them assignments, I give them assignments that are part of the busyness of real estate. Meaning those are the things you should be doing daily to create reality. And by the way, it's only 2 hours a day. And if you cannot, out of your 8 or 10 hours a day, cannot take 2 hours for prospecting to generate business, my question to you, what are you doing with your day? And the truth of the matter is, they're watching TV. They are checking out what's happening in the fridge. What do I want to cook today? Oh, let me check that article. And all of a sudden, they will go into a rabbit hole where there's a lack of discipline. So this is why accountability is important, because people tend to keep their word to others, but they don't keep their words to themselves. They will let themselves down first. But if they say to somebody, I'm going to do this, they tend, because they're decent, they tend to do that. That's why I create accountability. So this week, I'm going to show you how to create a market report. I'm going to give you a video. You're going to create yours. You're going to send it to your success partner. They're going to send you yours. You're going to get on the phone. You're going to discuss it. Mm-hmm. Did you remember this? Did you remember that? Did you remember that? How about the script? All of a sudden, you're not doing it by yourself. You're doing it because somebody else. You don't want to be that person who has all the excuses all the time. People don't like to use excuses, but we tolerate it. But so, yeah, there isn't. So it is work. And this is why I told you it's about 20, because most of them are looking for, I don't know, something. that
It's like, oh yeah.
doesn't exist.
So I'm sitting here daydreaming, like I'm totally focused on you as I always am. But you always spark so much thought in my head that I can't help it because of my personality type. But I'm sitting here thinking, man, would this be a great video for us to show brand new agents when they join our company? And then I'm thinking, no, that's too late. We need to get this to people that are getting ready to take the licensing course to say, is this career really right for me? Am I willing to do what Key is telling me to do? Because I know that this is going to be demanding. It's going to be a lot of work. And frankly, that leads me to one of your questions, which is you bring up the point is who's the wrong fit for you? Who's the agent that you don't want? That's a really interesting question.
Right. Um, if you are apathetic about life, meaning you are like whatever, if like you're Eeyore, if you're Eeyore of life and things don't matter, man, nothing makes a
Lots of
difference.
notes, buddy.
Nothing makes a difference. Who cares? If you're that kind of person who doesn't think that you have agency over your existence, don't take my class. Absolutely not. Because you'd be wasting your time. Because you're looking to blame somebody. You're looking for the government to give you something. You're looking for your parents to give you something. You're still living in the basement and you want to stay in the basement of your grandparents until they die. If you're that kind of mindset where you don't take ownership, this is my existence. I'm going somewhere. This matters to me, for me, not to prove it to others, for me. So if you don't take agency over your own existence, yeah, don't take my classes. Because in my classes, we learn personal responsibility. We work, how do we develop habits where we become self-disciplined, not just people who are dragged kicking and screaming to the promised land. We show up, we go. When I say to you, let's go fishing, you go, I'm going with you. You're not saying, well, my knees hurt. I don't care. Join me on the boat. Let's go fishing. So if you are apathetic or you don't want to become a full-time real estate professional, meaning you could be dual career right now or doing this part-time, but you have no vision to be full-time, you should not take my classes because I'll be giving you work.
That kind of segues into a question I have, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but why would anyone want to get into real estate where they wouldn't want to turn it into a career with unlimited earning potential and freedom and lifestyle opportunities to create wealth?
Television makes people believe, hey, this is a side gig. I can do this and I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. I can do real estate at night. Oh my God, I could do that. Yeah.
But my personality says I'm going to make real estate my primary gig, and I'm going to do a side gig that keeps me as a hobby. But this is my money maker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk for a second about money. Skin in the game. We've heard it a million times. You got to have skin in the game. Your course is not free. Okay. You do a lot of speaking and you do a lot of presenting and you do a lot of, I hate the word pitching what you do, but you do present the opportunity to people. But you require basically a tuition for this course. And you have a rule, and your rule is no broker involvement. Do not pay for the agent. Agents, you must pay. What's the message you're trying to say?
Oh, there's two layers of that. One layer, again, I'm going to take you back. If you're going to be a CEO, you understand the ledger of income and the ledger of expenses and investment. If you don't understand that, you're not ever going to become a CEO or the person in charge of running your business. That's number one. But the second one is, here's the statement I use. The statement goes like this. You pay for the training, but the training will be free. And I've been saying that, and few brokers got it. And here's how it works. If a broker pays for the agent to attend, that broker now has anxiety. Did the agent show up? And some of them don't show up because they go, hey, I didn't pay for it. They didn't have skin in the game. So guess what? The broker end up being brokenhearted because I paid for it. It's not the money. By the way, the brokers are not worried about the money. It's just a slap in the face. It's like, you didn't even show up. I paid for it. I believed in you and you didn't even step up. So the way I look at it is this way. The program, the 6-week, by the way, it is 8 weeks, but I call it the 6-week program. It's a fib, but I do that on purpose, is $399. If you register early, let's say for this one is by June 10th, it's $299, but you have to do homework. If you register early before June 10th and you do a piece of homework that I will give you, which is very easy to do, You now save $100. So it would be only $299. I tell brokers if the agent shows up to all of the sessions, by the way, I track. I know who's in the class. All right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Remember, I used to be a professor of mathematics. I track
know.
attendance. So,
Yeah.
and by the way, I track attendance and interactions. So anyway,
Nice.
if you complete the course, and I give you the parameters, by the way, in the requirement, I give you the parameters of how to complete the course. I tell brokers, give that agent, if they get a certificate from me that they completed the course, give them $100 in marketing credits. You know, they can use the money for signs, they can use the money for business card, they can use money for name badges, whatever. $100 of marketing dollars, not cash, marketing dollars. They pay for something and the broker gives them that $100. And for the next 4 months, for every listing that agent brings to the office and closes it, the broker will give them an additional $100 per listing. The program is now free. Do you know why that's good for the broker? Because brokers love to see signs in the yard. They know that their brand now is impacting the community. I have never met a broker who goes, I don't want signs in the yard. They all do. So it's a win-win. So the training ends up being free, but the personal accountability and the respect is that of the agent. The agent is taking personal responsibility. And that, for me, there's nothing better than that. If you're going to be a CEO of your business and you want to grow, you want to first say, I'm here. Count me in. I can do this.
Love it. All right. One of your questions, and this is actually one of my questions too, is that I think that on demand has made people lazy. Again, we go back to getting control of your calendar. Like if I said, show me your calendar, your day-to-day time blocking, and I can tell you what your future is going to look like or your earning potential is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't record your sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Your sessions are live.
Mm-hmm.
They're mandatory, which is a word that too
Mm-hmm.
many people don't like these days, but it's too bad. Mandatory is actually a good word because it's accountability, just
Mm-hmm.
another word for it. But you cap it at 25 people or so. They're live. Like Craig, you have to be here. If you're not here, sorry, you're kicked out. In a world right now where everyone wants convenience and on demand, and I want to look at it on my schedule, do you think that this is a deterrent, or do you think that this is just a mechanism for you to try and help them build that healthy habit of accountability where they have to show up?
You just answered your own question, dude. That's it.
Yeah.
You're taking personal responsibility for saying, I will manage my time and I will show up because I said so. This is important to me. They find time to watch Netflix for 5-6 hours a night and not complain about it. And they think that's normal. And they don't find the time to do a class that will help them make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. The question is, this is not a question of convenience. This is about personal responsibility. You have to show up because job one of a listing appointment is showing up. And if you don't know how to show up with a smile on your face, with preparation, guess what? You're not going to get the listing. They're watching you. So the class is designed that way. But there's another reason why these classes are not recorded and people don't understand that. It's because during the class, everybody participates.
Oh,
and I gotta, It's not, you're not just observing. I go to you, Craig, tell us about this script and tell us what happened last week. And sometimes it stirs up emotions and people cry and people are, shaken. Some of them are afraid. And I got to protect that space. I don't want them to feel like there's people are watching them. They have an agreement that the people in the class are going to see them. We all agree because we are all naked in that class because we protect each other. But outside the class, we don't want anybody to be in there because they don't belong. So I cannot take that recording and say, hey, here's just for you. And then they play it to somebody else and then somebody takes it out of context. I do not record live sessions because I want to protect the privacy of my people, but I want to give them a space to speak, to just feel. And there is fear in this business, fear of rejection. Somebody calls them a name or a top broker, makes them feel bad. And all of a sudden they're, confused and They need to share with a group of people where they can be safe. And that for me is very important.
Yeah, I love it. All right, I got a couple things here. Now we're going to wrap this up. So you've been doing this for, look, we talk when it comes to the broker side of things, the franchisee or the owner, the independent office owner, whatever position you're in, the owner of the company, it's all about recruitment. So attracting talent into the company and then training, obviously, but it's about production. And it's not just selfish production that, hey, I'm the broker, I want you to produce, therefore I can make more money. This is about how do we get our agents more productive so that they can live a better lifestyle, they can produce more to provide back to their families and their communities. Like that's our mission here at Exit. Okay, is not just selfish. It's more about the group than the individual. Now you've been doing this for over 20 years. What is the one thing? And this is your question. I just love this question. What is the one thing you wish every broker understood about why their agents are not producing more? What is that?
It's because our brokers have become what I call reductionists. What I mean by that, they always ask, how many listings do you have right now? How many closings did you have? How much money are you going to make by the end of the year? They're very reductionist rather than focusing on, tell me, you did some prospecting today. Tell me more about it. How many people did you talk to? We don't talk about activity. We talk about results. And if you're going to be the broker of the office, you are really the coach of the office. When I work with the broker, I see myself as what I call a co-coach with them. They're the primary coach. I'm the secondary coach. They bring me in to bring systems and structure and mindset. But the primary coach is really the broker. The broker sets the stage of where we're going. So therefore, for me, the broker sometimes, they only ask the simple question. They don't ask, tell me what happened with that deal. Tell me what happened with that phone call. How did you feel when that happened? They don't get into the activity. They don't track activity. They track results. And we're an industry that rewards results, and I'm happy with that. I love that some of our agents do really well and they get recognized. I love that. But that's after the fact. What should be happening, we should be tracking activity. This is why in my 6-week program, you have a daily, you fill out a daily prospecting sheet that you turn over to your success partners, and you do it daily, and then you do a wrap up of the week, and you do that for 8 weeks. And all of a sudden, you're taking responsibility. How many calls did I make? How many people did I go to? How many appointments did I have? What worked? What didn't work? What do I fine tune? What should I go to my coach or my broker and ask for help with? I don't know how to ask for a buyer's agreement. Can you help me with that? What would be a good script for me to ask that? But unless you're doing it, you're not going to know to think about it. So I wish brokers start looking at activity as being as important as results.
Yeah, I really like that, and I think that, look, there's a major epidemic right now in our industry where you've got brokers that are less and less hands-on. They're allowing agents to be more virtual, therefore they're not keeping perhaps office hours, or the brokers out selling their own real estate. And when you have an environment like that, it's really difficult for agents to get the accountability that they need unless they have another accountability partner in the office. But really, that should be a more skilled agent that has the experience, or the broker, which is ultimately responsible for that liability. But this is just a message to all you owners out there. This is about time management for you too. And you really should be having office hours where you're in saying, look, I'm available for the first 4 hours of the day to work with our agents to help you with whatever those needs are. And I love that you say, you always track the activity, not necessarily the result. As I said in the beginning, this is progress. This is not perfection. And that's really important, right?
And those who have activities always have results. I don't know what happens. It
It's
happens.
magical.
The universe is kind. The universe is the universe is full of abundance. There's plenty of business out there. But if you don't go for the activity, you will not see that abundance.
Yeah. So I want to wrap up with a little call to action for you to tell us a little bit about what we're here for really today and how they can take advantage of this. And again, I just feel like this is so good that we could put this in front of people. So you want to get into real estate, watch this video, right? Or you're a brand new agent, watch this video. And then when we're done with that, I want to do something really fun for just 2 minutes. So go ahead.
Well, I have a 6-week program, which is really 8 weeks. and I will be promoting it through our network and through my own network. And it's basically accountability. If you believe that your career deserves to be productive, and you are going to become a listing agent, not just a buyer's agent, you can do both, and you don't have to wait. If you believe that, then ask yourself, do I have the script? Do I have the mindset? Do I have the structure? Do I have the habits? Do I have the activity? Is it time for me to be boxed in with another group of people so they can bring out the best in me, and have somebody show me productively and concretely, step by step, what to do? I don't tell you go prospect. I tell you the language. I show you how to do it. I tell you what to do before you do it. You will get the whole thing, and your job is to step up and do it. So if you want to find more about it, there will be a QR code with this video. Scan it, go there. It will give you all the information. I have a syllabus there. I have the requirements there. For brokers, there is what I call the win-win. If you want some of your agents to participate, there's a win-win there for you to look at. There is an FAQ that answers all of the frequently asked questions. There are videos there that I'll be adding. This will be there as well. So it's really up to you to say, am I ready to do this? And by you doing this, Craig, you're bringing awareness that there's another type of what I call spaced out training that some of you would benefit from. Not all of you, but there's a few of you listening to me right now going, I'm ready for that. I'm ready to become a listing agent. I'm going to get 10 listings minimum a year, and I'm going to always guarantee myself 100,000 in commission to myself from now on. It's very doable. You just need to roll up your sleeve and do the work.
Yeah. I love this, because bringing awareness, that's really what this is. And, our industry deserves the professionalism to be raised. But again, that all falls back on us, and it falls back on each individual. And I think what you're doing is really good. It's not just great for our company. We're very lucky to have you in our brand, teaching our people and coaching our people, but it is for the industry too, because ultimately people do move on. They don't always spend their whole career with EXIT, but what they learn here, they take on to the next company perhaps, and that's good for the industry. So I appreciate that. All right, we're going to do something fun now, and then we're going to wrap this up. I see lots of really good stuff on your bookshelf behind you. I see Leaders Eat Last. I see Organize Tomorrow Today. I have all these books behind me as well. A lot of Simon Sinek, some John Maxwell stuff on there. And you also have some other items on there. I want you to tell me, what is one of the things that is behind you that either brings you the most joy or has the most impact in your life? Why is it there?
Well, it's interesting. This book here by Thomas Paine, The
Okay.
Rights of Man.
Okay.
Our Constitution comes from this, and this is a brilliant book. And if you want to understand the history of America, reading this book is just beautiful. And it's called The Rights of Man. Of course, back then, the word man, was generic because it was only men, but really it's the rights of people, or actually it should say the rights of individuals. But those are not rights given to you. These are rights you earn. These are rights you fight for. These are rights you become. So this book for me is one of the most influential books. And of course, this encyclopedia.
Oh gosh. Ah.
This one is called Mathematics, The Birth of Numbers, John Gill. This book here is, I wish I could, if I could teach this for the rest of my life, I would. It teaches you everything. I call it the fabric of the universe, how the universe is formed, how the universe is. And at the bottom of that fabric is always numbers or equations or formulas. And this is my favorite possession. I love this book, and I have others, of course.
Wow. Wow. So if anybody out there wants to get their nerd on, and I mean that in the most fun-loving way, this is the guy you want to hang out with. Well, I love doing this, and I love doing this with you. I think we could make this into a routine thing where we could meet, once a month or once every 6 weeks and do something like this.
I'd love to.
It's not just to bring awareness to your program, which it is, because we're trying to do a call to action because that turns into results. But it's really an awareness for our industry, and it's a reminder to each and every one of us that if you schedule your day appropriately and you live by good time management and you take responsibility and accountability for yourself, the sky's the limit. And we see that every day. Unfortunately, the percentages are low in our industry. We want to get that up. We want to make that better. So for all you new agents out there, take his course. Okay, take his course. For every agent out there, I don't care what level you are right now. You're never too good to learn something new. And I believe in that myself, right? So, Keith, thank you so much for inviting me on today and letting me be part of this.
Oh, thank you for doing this with me. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Take care, everybody.